Roman theater, or Greek theater. Here we have the actors. This is the audience, which was called the theatron in ancient Greece. So if the audience could move right out
over here, can you
on over here, walk this way, walk toward the bullhorn, walk toward the bullhorn. If we could gather here, walk toward the bullhorn. Thank you. Audience right over here. Hold those signs up nicely. Very good. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to say welcome. My name is John Stewart, but I'm sorry that I'm not that John Stewart. Welcome here. We, people as part of the Tuesday morning group, have been outside Senator Rubio's office regularly since January of 2017. When he had an office over on West Shore Plaza, across from West Shore Plaza on Kennedy. Thank you. Thank you. By the way, we call the offices every week when we're here, and almost always there are honks. So they know the people passing by support us, which is very, very exciting. Was anyone here at West Shore Plaza? Put your hands up if you were here way back in the day. Give them a nice round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. How many folks here are regularly here on Tuesday mornings with the Tuesday morning group? Let's see your hands. Joe Ventimiglia, that's you. Thank you. Very good. And one more. How many folks, I don't know where, Charles. Where's Charles? Okay, come on up here, Charles. And how many of you were at Praise the Lord Church serving meals to the homeless Sunday night? Give them a round of applause. This is a group which is very active in all sorts of ways, dealing with the immediate issues and also the enormous issues. But we are here, ladies and gentlemen, because Marco Rubio ran away. When we were outside his office in January of 2017, just after the election of President Trump, we wanted to have a town hall to share our concerns with him. Concerns which 6 months before he shared. But rather than meet with us, he closed his office and ran away. He forced his staff to work out of their cars, and we moved to Dale Mabry and Kennedy, and then he quietly reopened an office here, and we came here. Rubio keeps running away. We're here today to say, stop running away. Stop obstructing. Do what the people of Florida want. We'll hear more about that later. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be delivering these letters to Senator Rubio and Scott, over 200 names each. Let me ask something. We're all here this morning. How many of you know at least one other person who agrees that everyone should have a strong right to vote? One other. How many know two other who can't be? How many know three other? 4, 5, more than a dozen. Give those, how many know more than 20? You get the, Give those folks and all of us a round of applause. So it's important to be here to establish a relationship to the staffs in this building and to let them know that we are only here, and ladies and gentlemen, the legendary Hot Donut Company. There it goes. I always call the offices when it goes by, that's my marker, but today I'll hold off. We are here to let people know that we are not alone. We represent the true majority in Florida, and we want change, and we want election freedom. Today, I want to introduce a person who is a long-term struggler for rights. He's Joel Bravo, and he is with the Florida Immigrant Coalition. So I'll have him up here in a moment. Could I ask for somebody to please hold the megaphone?
It's okay. I got it.
Well, okay. Can you do both?
Everyone can hear me, right? Yeah?
Yes.
There we go. All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is William Joel Bravo, and I serve as a Deputy Political Director for the Florida Immigrant Coalition. Today, I stand here a little bit over halfway throughout the year. Through that time, we've seen economic revitalization and almost a reopened economy. About 3 months ago, we stood in front of these very steps, making clear demands of Senator Scott and Senator Rubio and the Florida congressional delegation. As the Senate and the House take decisive steps towards reconciling the budget and settling the budget, we ask that you hear us out. We need permanence. DACA recipients, TPS holders, and the 11 million need a pathway to citizenship. Throughout these last 18 months, we have been the backbone of a recovering economy, of recovering society. We've shown up to work, we've paid our taxes, and we put our lives on the lines to ensure that our communities were well fed, medically taken care of, and ensure that our economy moved forward so that we can all return back to normalcy. As we sit here today, the Florida congressional delegation is on recess. They will hear from each and every single one of us to ensure that no time is better than today. The decision to stand up for the plight of immigrants, the reconciliation, is an important choice to consider, because together we can alleviate the lives of over 7 million people in the United States. As news cycle after news cycle is dominated by oversaturated fear of a crisis at the border, there are people here in our communities who are working and moving our economy forward that are living in fear with an uncertainty of tomorrow. So I stand up here today with directly impacted people behind me to make a request to the Florida congressional delegation, specifically of Senator Scott and Senator Rubio, that today is a day that we move towards a path towards citizenship. You cannot sit here and pretend to care about communities, denigrate us, and then ask us for our vote in the consequential election. It's time to show up for us. We need permanence. Thank you.
Thank you. And as he said, this is not the first time he's been here, and I hope it's not the last time we'll all be here as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, one person who has been working tirelessly in Pinellas County for immigrant rights, and the woman who will present the letters today to the two offices, please give it up for Cynthia Lippert.
I'm with Cynthia Lippert, Indivisible Statewide Florida Network. There's a number of us here. There it is. I'm with Indivisible Statewide Network. There's a number of us here. Some are from Punta Gorda, Dunedin, Palm Harbor, St. Petersburg. And did I miss any locations? Clearwater, Safety Harbor, Sarasota?
Terracea.
Wow.
Terracea.
Wow, thank you so much, because this is our Senate, these are our legislators, these are the Senate offices. They are back, as Joel said, from Washington. They need to hear their constituents and what they believe, so we will be delivering a letter. I'll just give the briefest points about it. We have listened to a bunch of nonsense about cancel culture, critical race theory instruction, the political views of Dr. Zeus. All are meant to confuse and distract us from legislation. The Republican leader has already announced no on all legislation. How can that represent the millions of Floridians? So we're not going to be quiet. We're not going to presume. It won't make a difference. Silence is a presumption that they win and they will not know what many Floridians want. So we'll be delivering a letter on For the People Act, S1, American Dream and Promise Act, HR 6, the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act, George Floyd Justice in Policing Act, the Equality Act, which prohibits discrimination based on gender, the No Ban Act, which stops stops a president restricting any person based on national origin, like no Muslim ban, protecting the rights to organize, Pro S420 expands labor protections and collective bargaining, background check expansion, enhanced background checks for gun safety. How overdue is that we can't even get that passed in Florida? So we have hundreds of signatures thanks to you, and I don't know the count, 50 people showed up on a hot Tampa Tuesday. So again, thank you so much, and we're just going to close with John Stewart, who has been the most determined person for advocacy and activism.
Thank you, Cynthia.
Thank you, Cynthia. You'll hold it. Ladies and gentlemen, we started here in 2017 because Marco Rubio ran away. You've already heard me talk about that. He said at one point that he couldn't have a town hall meeting because he was in Europe, and one of his constituents saw him in a hotel lobby. It's on YouTube. Following the constituent saying, "Senator Rubio, you're going to have a town hall? I thought you were in Europe." Look it up on YouTube. Now, he continues to run away. With the For the People Act, the Republican Party is running away. They wouldn't even vote to hear it. They would not even listen to it. My friend Joe and I, Joe, one of our stalwarts, and Charles, another one back there, we are wearing shirts that say "Good Trouble," quoting John Lewis. When John Lewis, the congressman, died, Rubio said, "It was an honor to know and be blessed with the opportunity to serve in Congress with John Lewis, a genuine and historic American hero. May the Lord grant him eternal peace." Senator Scott said, "Ann and I send our thoughts and prayers to the loved ones of John Lewis. He left an indelible mark on our country and spent his entire life giving a voice to the voiceless. We are forever grateful for his service to our country and our world," and retweeted what all the Senate Republicans said: "Son of sharecroppers, civil rights leader, freedom fighter, change maker, fearless fighter, American hero." Meanwhile, then and now, Republicans were doing their hardest to undo John Lewis's lifetime work, including Rick DeSantis here in Florida and the Republican legislature. By February 19th of this year, according to the Brennan Center of Justice, 253 bills proposing voting restrictions had been made across 43 states in Republican legislatures. Lewis said in House testimony, "We have to look beyond the glowing reports of a new South. We have to recognize the fallacies of those who would tell us that federal registrars and observers are no longer needed. We cannot allow ourselves to be duped into believing that in these so-called new and changing times, the Voting Rights Act is no longer needed. There are fewer violent tactics, but the subtle and more sophisticated forms of intimidation are still being devised and quite prevalent." John Lewis said that in 1971. He understood that Governor DeSantis, surrounded by a bunch of white men, is a better optic, minimally, than fire hoses and dogs turned on children. It's much more subtle, but it's still present. Now, while the Republicans were calling him a changed light and so forth, Representative John Kavanaugh, a Republican, said Democrats value as many people as possible voting, so they're willing to risk fraud, a fraud which they invented, the Republicans. "We don't mind putting security measures in that don't let everybody vote, because everybody shouldn't be voting." We're here today to say, Senator Rubio, you can't run away anymore. Everyone should be voting, and their vote should be strengthened, not weakened. He to say, it's going to be absolutely devastating for Republicans in this country. Jay Williams, a Republican in Georgia, said if the Democrats pass H.R. 1, which is the House version of the bill we're out here fighting for, it's going to be absolutely devastating for Republicans in this country. I think stopping H.R. 1 is more relative to Republican success in the future than Donald Trump. And Mike Lee, Senator Mike Lee, said the H.R. 1, the House version, was written in hell by the devil himself. Yes, there was a guy named Robert J. Lipton who studied what people say most of us don't like to think about, and he pointed out that if you're going to do big evil, you got to have a big reason. And religion in most of the world is the biggest reason there is. If you're going to do big good, you got to have a big reason. But we shouldn't be surprised at all the religious talk surrounding the new Jim Crow. And then, back in May, Rick Scott told Republicans, since my time as governor, Florida has enacted laws that maximize voter participation while protecting the integrity and transparency of our elections. The lawsuits being pushed by the radical leftists in Florida have no basis in fact. They are part of the Democrats' big lie that any effort to secure the integrity of voting is racist. According to the British Center for Justice, the voting rights organization, Rick Scott is one of the chief architects of voter suppression in this country. So we're out here to say, Scott, stop running away. Rubio, stop running away. And Scott, stop destroying the vote. Now what we're happening, and of course, what do we have? We have Marco Rubio calling Val Demings a communist, a Marxist. He has nothing to do, nothing. He's got no policies, nothing other than voter suppression. The rule I follow is if somebody A is calling B a communist, look at A. Why is the person saying that? What we have here is a small circle of supporters that Rubio and Scott are making angry and firing up and then trying to cut out the rest of us from voting. That's the situation, and that's why we're here. But not all is lost. Jackie Toledo, a state representative, pointed out that Rubio has been very good in family leave. Even Donald Trump has supported that. And I'm told that some of Rubio's staff is down in Surfside now helping with the condo collapse. And last week, they were at the Enoch Davis Center helping veterans and elderly people get help from the government. That's what they ought to be doing all the time, not suppressing votes. So what we're going to ask is that Senator Rubio's office is there, Senator Scott's office is there, and we're going to say, in terms of the For the People Act, we're going to ask the two senators to do their job. Okay, all right. So, having separated the papers, the For the People Act would make it easier to vote in federal elections and end congressional gerrymandering. That's what Floridians want. Rubio and Scott, do your jobs. Let's hear it again. Rubio and Scott, do your jobs.
Rubio and Scott, do your job.
Thank you. That's all we're asking. We're not asking for anything extraordinary. Most people want to most Floridians want an overhaul of federal campaign finance laws. That's what the For the People Act would do. Rubio and Scott won't even think about it. We're saying, Rubio and Scott, do your jobs. Do your jobs. Do your jobs. Do your jobs. The For the People Act would increase safeguards against foreign interference. That's what most Floridians want. That's what they should get. Rubio and Scott,
do your jobs.
Do your jobs. Do your jobs. The For the People Act would also strengthen government ethics rules and more. How many Floridians don't want that? We all want that. Rubio and Scott,
do your jobs.
Do your jobs. Do your jobs. Stop running, Marco Rubio. Do your jobs. We're here every Tuesday morning. We are out here with our signs. We also call the office, read them their signs, and we send them an email saying, here are the facts backing up the concerns on our signs. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. We're going to be usually here till about 11:30. I'm told we have a candidate here who's running against Senator Rubio. He's not part of the protest. Well then, by popular acclaim, let me de-COVID the microphone.
How's everybody doing today?
Good.
It's so wonderful to see all of these change agents out here today fighting for democracy. My name is Alan Ellison, and I'm running for the United States Senate against Senator Marco Rubio. I've been in this race for 7 months now. Okay? We've been preaching that we need to strengthen our democracy because we have actors who are literally trying to destroy our democracy with voter suppression laws, with intimidation tactics, and we have to stand up. We have to lift our voices. If we don't lift our voices, they're going to continue to do what they've always done, and that's suppress votes and get in offices and try to represent our interests. And we already know they're not going to represent our interests. They're going to represent the interests of those big donors, and we cannot continue to have that to happen. So in order for us to really do this, we have to take this message to the streets. We have to take this message to the rural parts of the country, to the rural parts of the state. We have to go where no other candidate has gone, where no other leaders have gone. And as a matter of fact, most of our voters have not seen a federal politician in 25 years. Okay? We're going to have to go into those places where people have felt left out, where people have felt marginalized, overlooked, underappreciated, underrepresented, and we have to bring those voters out. The reality is that we have almost 100,000 more registered Democrats than Republicans in the state of Florida. But the Republicans, they come out and vote. The Republicans use voter suppression tactics, and Democrats have felt as if they have not had a fair shake. Well, we want to give them an opportunity to have their fair shake by giving them representatives who are responsive to their needs, representatives and senators who will be there to provide constituent services. At the end of the day, Marco Rubio has been in this office for 11 years, and not a single person on this street can think of a single thing that he has done to benefit and impact their lives for the better. We could say, do your jobs, but he has had 11 years of not doing his job. In fact, he has missed 60% of work in 11 years. How many of you can miss 60% of work and continue to keep your jobs? He needs to lose his, and so does Senator Scott. So I'm asking for your support. I'm asking for your vote. I'm asking for you to get involved even more than you have ever before, because this is so important. If we don't win this election, we have a governor who's thinking about running for president in 2024. And we already know that he is one of the chief architects in the state of Florida with voter suppression bills. And not only voter suppression bills, but bills that have been suppressing each and every person since he took office, whether it be the LGBTQ community, whether it be people of color, women. I'm fighting for people to have equal rights, whether it's women with equal pay, whether it's LGBTQ community people who need to have a voice, who need protections in the workplace, because right now, everyone is under attack. And if we don't have leaders who are going to represent our interests, we're going to continue to have more of the same, and we can't afford more of the same. My name's Alan Ellison, running for the United States Senate, and I approve this message.
And obviously so does the crowd. Thank you, Alan Ellison. Let's hear it for Alan Ellison. So now, ladies and gentlemen, my friend Joe here, who is the megaphone holder, he will be coming around. Make sure we get your name and your zip code and your email. The zip code is so when I call the office, I can tell them who is here. They always ask for zip codes. And so now, Cynthia, are you here? Cynthia.
She's in the front door.
Cynthia has gone in. Give her. Cynthia has entered the building, ladies and gentlemen. Give her a nice round of applause. I will add you to our email list. and I will be sending out reminders and updates and news. We're usually here till 11:30. We are this morning, ladies and gentlemen, 50 strong.
Yay!
And if each of us represents 20 or 30 or 50 or 100 people who want to be here but they can't, look at all the retired folks, they have to work. We need to be here because we're retired. Think of all those folks, 50 times 100 times 2,000 times all the people we know who want a decent Florida and want Senator Scott and Senator Rubio to represent us and do their jobs. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I hope we'll see you in the future. Thank you so much for being here. Onward and upward to victory. Thank you.